Everyone knows that most people who own a Jeep name their Jeeps. But how does a Jeep name come to be? In this video, we're going to discuss the top 3 ways that you can name your Jeep. I think you're going to like this, so stick around. You ever wonder how a Jeep's name comes to be? I have seen so many people on social media like Facebook and Reddit that have asked the same question over and over again. Can you help me name my Jeep? What's interesting is that it's only once in like every 10,000 comments or so does someone actually suggest something that is appropriate and that sticks. But is this the right way to do it? So let's dive into how to name your Jeep and how to know that the name that you've chosen is the one that is actually going to stick. And as we go, I'm going to share some personal experiences on the Jeeps that I've had and some of my friends and how we came up with our names as well. So before we get too deep into this, I just want to say thank you for all the support for the channel. We have recently surpassed our goal of 1,000 subscribers. So to all the returning subscribers, thank you. I definitely appreciate the support. And hey, if you're new to the channel and this is the first time you're seeing a video, why not hit that subscribe button and support the efforts? So I mentioned that there are 3 ways to name your Jeep. Let's talk about each one individually, starting with number 3. Each Jeep has its own personality. Seriously. Now, I'm not saying that your Jeep is alive, per se, but learning its personality can help to determine its name. The Jeep's going to have likes and dislikes. Some Jeeps are loud. Some Jeeps are mean, dirty. Some are pristinely clean. Others don't like certain weather conditions. But these are personality traits. Of course, some of the personality traits of a Jeep are also an extension of the owner themselves. I had a friend years ago who called his 2-door Jeep the No Joke JK. It was an extension of himself for sure, but this Jeep was no laughing matter, as it was ready and able to conquer anything laid out in front of it. I have another friend who years ago named his 2006 LJ Warthog. He felt that it was more of a pig than himself when it came to fuel consumption and wallet draining, and through a drunken night of picking on one another, the name kind of came out and it stuck. So naming a Jeep based on its personality can sometimes take a little while, but you need to drive it, talk to it, but most importantly, you need to listen to it. And just like a pet, it has likes and dislikes, and eventually, once you figure that out, it makes it so much easier to choose its name. Now, the second way that you can name your Jeep would be based on like the installed options. For example, the color. Now, you wouldn't take a bright red Jeep and name it Snow White, right? Or maybe one that's always pristinely clean wouldn't be called Dirty Harry. So yes, installed options sometimes play a part in the naming process. I have a friend who owns a Mojito JL Wrangler Sport, and he named it Shrek. Now, his idea is that it was always dirty, preferred to be alone, and, of course, it was green. It fits, right? Not only does it fit the personality of both the Jeep and the owner, but the installed options as well. One of my favorite Jeeps that I've ever owned was a 2012 Unlimited Sport. It was fire engine red. It was just a baby when I got it, and the Jeep turned out to be so much fun. However, it took several adventures and wheeling on the trails before this Jeep developed its name. In fact, it was my oldest daughter, Emily, who named the Jeep Simba. You know, the little red-headed cub from The Lion King. Her line of reasoning was that even though it was a baby at the time, as it grew, it would eventually become the king of the trails. And you know what? We kind of liked it, so we ran with it. In fact, we even adopted the entire Lion King theme, going as far as putting Hakuna Matata on the side of it after suffering several major character-enhancing scratches and dents, wheeling it throughout Pennsylvania, Virginia, Texas, and Nevada. Now, the final way that a Jeep gets its name is one that I am a firm believer in, but one that most people do not understand until it happens, and that is that it already has a name, and you just have to figure out what it is. Now, granted, this is usually more true with pre-owned Jeeps than new ones. Now, let's take a step back and consider it this way. You decide that you want a dog, so you go to the pound and you find the perfect pet. He's 4 years old, loyal, and ready to come home to you. Do you think that this dog made it 4 years of its life without a name? No. Most of the time, though, the pound will tell you what the name is, but let's assume in this case that they don't. If his name has been, let's say, Rex all of its life, and you decide to name him something different on day one, like Merlin, is he going to respond to that name right away? No, probably not. Okay, so maybe that's a little bit of a stretch. But knowing that every Jeep has a personality, used Jeeps may already have a name. Ask it, listen to it. You might be surprised. It might actually tell you what its name is. My current Jeep is a 2011 Rubicon. Now, I've had this Jeep for years, but it's only recently did we actually figure out his name, Wanderer. See, we tried to overlay names such as Silver Bullet, Mad Max, even tried general girl and boy names that popped into our head as we continued to drive it and use it. One time, we called it Roxanne, and that very night, it broke down and ended up in the shop for a week. See, no matter what we tried, nothing stuck. So one day we were out wandering around in the desert and listening to the radio, and an old classic came on the radio, the song called The Wanderer. Now, yes, it's an old tune, but we all started singing along, and call me crazy, but I swear the Jeep never ran so good. It was like internally it was smiling. And so it stuck. And since the Rubicon stickers were all but destroyed from a decade of desert sun and sand, we ordered new decals to name our Jeep. And since we named it, its real personality has come to life, and the Jeep drives like it has a new purpose now. Okay, call me crazy, that's fine. But when it happens to you, you'll understand. So why do you even need to name your Jeep? Well, let's be realistic. You wouldn't have a child or a pet and not name it, right? Well, just like a member of your family, when your Jeep decides to adopt you as its forever human, you need to give it a name, therefore bringing it as part of your family. Now, it took a little while for our Jeep to adopt us. Maybe its previous owner treated it really well and he had a hard time letting that go. Who knows? Folks, when it comes to naming your Jeep, do not rush into it. Do not just pick something out of a hat. I mean, you wouldn't do that for your son or daughter or your golden retriever, right? Rather, take the time, learn its personality, consider its pre-installed equipment, and most of all, listen to it. And the Jeep will tell you its name. And once you figure it out, that's it. The Jeep is now part of your family, and that's its name forever. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and I sincerely hope that this information has helped you in determining the name of your Jeep, or at least how to come up with the name of your Jeep. In fact, in the comments down below, why don't you tell me the name of your Jeep and how you came up with it, because I'm kind of curious if anybody else has had the same experiences that I have. But meanwhile, stay safe, happy Jeeping, and we will see you next time.